Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science and Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about smartphones future. Somebody suggested this idea, it was kind of wise. So we have reached what we call saturation, as in all products have this, let that be very clear. No matter you're talking about television, cars, jet engine, planes, rockets, whatever have you, there is always a S-curve. So this S-curve simply means in the early days, changes were happening dramatically, drastically, rapid innovation was happening. Meaning year one model versus year two model, it was like, whoa. Like you went from 512 gigabyte of RAM in your smartphone to 2 gigabyte very quickly. But again, then you reach a saturation point, meaning if you had like ROG phones, they had a 16 gigs of RAM, you still have 16 gigs of RAM. So fundamentally that pace changed. And again, it's normal, it's supposed to happen, it will happen because there's a law in this universe known as physical laws, meaning how energy behaves, how radio frequency behaves, all of those has a constraint in reality. So in that constraint, the early days is a free wiggle room. Why? Because physics says you can be here. You are starting in the domain, you are here. Lot of wiggle room. So first slow, you're figuring things out. It's a very slow growth. Then you'll have bam, 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 rapid growth. But then you reach a saturation point. You can't do much. For example, can we have an inverter basically that takes AC, makes it into DC efficiently? Yes. It would be super cheap to make something that is 80% efficient. Bit more money, you can touch 90%. What about 95%? Yeah, now you have to pay a boatload of money. What about 99.18% efficient? It can be made. There are companies who are claiming that, but yeah, idiotically expensive. And that reaches a point of maturity, meaning, yeah, we maxed out. We can't do much. Like the jump from 95% efficient to 99% efficient is so expensive. And slowly over time, everybody reaches that 95% is like, yeah, there's not going to be much change. So, and again, this is physical laws. You can't achieve 100%. And even if you did, it will not make a difference. That's the other part you have to understand. Like there's a big difference. Let's say you have electric vehicle and the inverter, basically that is taking your batteries DC voltage and making into three-phase AC. That is like the motor driver. It's only 80% efficient. It would be a massive jump to go from that same battery, same topology, just swapping out the inverter, the VFD, and going to 90% efficient. But 90 to 95, not that big. 95 to 96, might as well not notice it. It is there, it is significant. It's just that it's far more significant in your bank balance than it is significant in real world experience. And this will happen to everything. So gap between physical laws that was there, the wiggle room, that wiggle room fades. And after that point, basically your achievement shrinks. You cannot do anything about it. It will happen to CRT TV also, meaning if you look into CRT TV in the early years, so much rapid innovation where Sony was figuring out Trinitron, somebody was figuring out curve, somebody was figuring out flat, like somebody was figuring out projector, everybody was going YOLO. But then by the, I would say 2005 to 2010, it was like, meh, like all the original patents expired and it was like, not much can be done size-wise because of the vacuum requirement. It's not gonna fly too much. So it reached a point, right? You could not push it too much and LCD displaced it. So whenever this happens, basically you have the early takeoff period, then maturity. You have two outcomes on any product. You have stagnation, basically things just stabilize, like jumbo jets. They're cool, they're not going to change that much. Yeah, you can have USB, you can have a monitor in your phone, but again, it was there. In 90s, it was there. Heck, it's now cheaper and crappier experience, even though technology is better. So you reach that maturity. Things become stagnant and it can't change too much because again, law of physics room is shrunk. Another aspect, decline, meaning it will become inferior product. That happens when something new displaces, meaning you could have bought amazing Walkmans from Sony in the peak era, where Sony was like, they give you a Walkman that you could pass down to your children. That's how robust they were. But later era, it was after the stagnation, basically after the maturity period, there is a decline period. In that decline period, if you had bought a Walkman from Sony, same brand, same factories also, the quality would be so poor, you'd be like, bro, this breaks so quickly, why people like it? So fundamentally, this will happens whenever you have a new replacement. For example, Walkmans got displaced with CD Walkman and MP3 and mini disc. So same thing will happen with television also. Basically, we went from CRT to LCD. There was a plasma, but for very short duration, and then after that it changed. So fundamentally, this will happen. Let that be very clear. It will happen to rockets also. Once we figured out like, Falcon 9 and landing and all that, yeah, most companies will slowly reach to that level, and Falcon 9 to Starship won't be that big of a jump. And once people figure out that you can land with a heat shield rather than requiring propulsive landing, it will reach a new stagnation period, and then done. Not else gonna change. Then you can have to switch to nuclear propulsion. So same will happen with everything. So it's not abnormal. It is part of the evolution of physics. Now we come to the hot potato battle, which is camera. Now camera is a core battle because it's easy to explain to normal people. It's not like, oh, see, they have like, DDR4 16 gigabyte, I have DDR5 16 gigabyte. Yeah, that's not a convenient topic to talk about. But camera is like, hey, there looks poo-poo, our looks GG. That's it. So that's the current battleground. However, laws of physics do not like this. Like, is there one thing that law of physics hates, is this camera. The reason for that is very simple. Smaller light, basically smaller surface area, means you have to contort light too much. Basically, you're taking wide angle and you're contorting it to tiny thing. Yeah, physics does not like that. Physics is like, nope. And we have known this since black and white negative era. Since we figured out positive and all that, we learned this the hard way. Make the goddamn projection area bigger, the better the quality would be. Even if your lens is not great, if projection area is not like, if you're projecting to 35 millimeter versus this, yeah, this will be better, even if the glass is shittier. It was shocking to me. It's like, yeah, light does not like to be contorted. You do not want light to go, you don't want to do that. If you want a proof of that, look into same cinema camera that has 35 millimeter. Put same camera, like just a Sony or Canon, whatever have you. Take the same camera, put cinema lens from the same brand, and put the basically photo lens. Photo lens will always give you a crappier result. It's like, why? Everything could be same. It could be the same f-stop. It could be the same what we call projection area. Why? Camera lenses are tiny. They are designed to be as small as possible, while cinema lenses are huge. Why? They are not contorting light. You do not want to contort light. And you go to NASA, it's like, give me the best lens. They'll take a bitch slap to you. They're just like, bye. Why? Glass is not good for that. You always want mirror. If you want quality light, you do not use glass. Like, you do not force light to go through things. You always have mirrors. First surface mirror, that also. Light to thing. Basically, if you want a understanding of this, look into the optical path of James Webb Space Telescope. Almost all telescopes, they do not have glass. Not a single lens into it. Like, if they have to put lens, it's generally for cost reason, because again, they could engineer it with a mirror system. It just would be expensive or big. Might not fit into a rocket. So those things play out. Okay, so physics hate this. Like, physics first does not like glass. Law of physics. Second, they do not like tiny surface area. Law of physics. Like, if you ever want to freak yourself out, look into the photographs that people took, like some original photograph that has not been degraded and 1 foot size. Negative. I'm talking negative that was 1 foot. The sharpness on those will bitch slap any 800 megapixel full frame camera you can make today. Like, you would be shocked. And that's why, like, even in this, like my full frame cameras that are only 33 megapixel, compare that to 200 megapixel of this. Why the heck it does not look good? Physics. Physics does not like contorting. And God help you if you're contorting it with glass rather than mirrors. So fundamentally, so what can we do? Well, cheat code. AI is the cheat code. Physics does not allow you to have a basically camera that can look to the moon. Like, physics does not allow you to do that. Like, no. Physics is like, no, bro. There is a diffraction limit. There is things. There is stuff. There is aperture. No. It's just like, no, sir. No. So then how the heck Samsung can take a photo of moon? It cannot. It just figures out based on the context clues that it is looking at a moon, and then it uses AI to place it there. Nothing more than that. So, and again, somebody tricked it with, like, floating it some a monitor. They had this moon photo, and it was just far away. Camera got tricked, plastered a freaking AI image on the moon. So AI is allowing the cheat code. Basically, physics says this can only be this good. Like, you're not gonna expect, like, whoa. It's like, we reached that. It's like, oh, but his sensor is big. Like, meh. It's not that, like, whoa. So fundamentally, AI allows you to cheat. How AI is cheating, that's the great part nowadays. For example, if I take a photo from AI cameras nowadays, it will look at me as like, bro, this is a dude. Okay, the dude is, old. He's losing his hair. This part, they will shade it down just a little bit. Like, just little bit. It will not look off. It will not look painted. It will just look off. It will look pleasant. Why? I'm not bald. So that's all. Those sort of little subtle things. In early days, they were just like that. Now they're like, okay, let's just smooth out a little bit, crow's feet. Okay, this person is a bit old, so just a smidge, like very smart. It's basically taking a photo and painting a photo that you want out of it, rather than what is physically being captured. It's painting what you want out of it. So that's a great cheat code that all camera company realize. This is limited. Physics is limited. You can't do much about it. But what if you can paint a photo that they want to see? So all the engineering that is going in is in the light folding path. Basically, what if we have periscope to fold it? What if we have a freaking Cassegrain telescope? I'm not joking. This is a literally same telescope engineering. They're like, okay, this can make us 10% smaller. It's a freaking telescope, man. Like, not even joking. Like, you can buy a Celestron telescopes from that sort of light path. And that much engineering, and the size saving is 10%. I'm like, what's the point? And there is a company, Samsung's new approach is, instead of having glass element here, you have glass element on top of the prism. Okay. And there is a iPhone which has like, more glasses, so the path is longer. Again, light does not like to be contorted. So longer path, same glass will give you better length, better what you call rendition. Some companies are like, if I'm not mistaken, high is like lens is here, then is a whole prism bridge, and then the sensor is there. Sensor is looking down, lens is looking like this. And then you have like, almost a double periscope. This is 90-degree periscope, that's 180-degree periscope. So that's the only thing left. Like, you can't do much more than that. You could try to have water lens, which some company did try, but it got abandoned surprisingly quickly. You can have optical image stabilization, kind of reach saturation. We can't do much about it. Light folding, although I really, from bottom of my heart, did wish these companies just for lol make point and shoot again with all the technology. Like, it would be mind-bogglingly awesome. Like, mind-bogglingly, like, you'll be like, whoa. Like, it will destroy lunches of these sort of cameras. And imagine if instead of having like, a black and white sensor and then bare filter, what if it had like, what we call diffraction grating system, as in like it has a prism that splits light into 4 channels, red, blue, green. So all black and white is full color. There is no AI painting. It actually has that. So, and again, you can have, without having the autofocus sensor in the sensor, which reduces the quality. That's why the cinema cameras do not have autofocus and quality is better. Even though everything sounds the same, it's just that silicon is different. Rather than having phase array inbuilt into the silicon, you free the silicon. Silicon is awesome. And you have the 4th channel that is only for autofocus. Or you can even have infrared into that. Mild infrared, of course. Deep infrared will not go through glass. That's another reason. Telescope do not like this, because telescope, you want to image the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Mirrors can work with like almost deep ultraviolet to very long wavelength infrared, while glass window is much smaller. So that could be amazing. Like, somebody really should make it. It would be like, whoa, like a small compact that you can put in your pocket, and it would be like GG. Like, X would be super high, battery life would be bonkersly huge, Wi-Fi, everything would be awesome. We could do that. Like, it will cost, but it would be awesome. So autofocus has become competent. This is the biggest jump. When I was like, with my early smartphone, I really wanted a camera that allowed me to have manual focus because it was terrible. Now I don't even think about it. Like, I'm pretty sure most of you don't think about it, because like, it's good. Like, we got this. Background blur now has depth. That was the biggest jump from the 2015 era, where it was like iPhone detected here, blurred everything. Now it's like, okay, what's the leading line? Based on the leading line, let's slice the images in multiple layer, put the maximum blur, small blur, this blur. Yes, all of this is happening now. And even the hairs, they are figuring out how the hair is. So that's why I said, like, AI is allowing them to paint so much that they are cheating it. Like, yes, there. But let me be very blunt and clear. Next 5 to 10 years, you're not gonna see fundamentally too much difference in photography. Like, it will be saturated. It was like, yeah, we could have done that. Like, there would be a big difference if you are taking photos from like, old cameras like 2010 to 2020. 2020 to 2025 would be mild difference. 25 to 2030 won't be. So that's the physics part of it. Again, AI will cheat it, but realistically, physics is like, yeah, we reached kind of saturation. Now we come to another desirable thing, which is easy to explain to people. Big battery. Now it's not technology. You can't apply AI to it. It's chemistry. It's old school. It's brutal. It's blunt. And size matters. Bigger is better. There is no discussion, flat out. Bigger is better. Meaning, if you are a company, like a poor company like Apple, and you want to like, hey, I want to cheat people because I mean, I'm a poor company. You'd be like, hey, instead of giving one 5000 milliamp hour cell, give two smaller cell. Now, like, why? It's still 5000 milliamp hour. Yes and no. Yes in capacity, no in longevity. It will degrade much quicker. A bigger pack degrades much slower compared to a smaller. Same chemistry. Does not matter, oh, like, what if I make a longer lasting chemistry? Again, same chemistry will last even longer on a bigger cell. That's physics. It cannot be cheated. Chemistry says it. Do not fight for it. Flat out. No matter what chemistry change you will do, bigger cell will glow more. Meaning, oh, it fast charges much quicker. It lasts much longer. Everything will be better. So bigger the package, you can't shrink it. This is one of those things. Even if there is some new chemistry, you won't be able to shrink it, because if you shrunk it, let's just say you are a brand, you shrunk it, other brand would be like, okay, we'll expand it, and they will flat out beat you. Like, this is as what you call simplistic as there is. Bigger is better. The end. And chargers have become so advanced that chargers are charging your phone now. Now, in the early days, if you remember, chargers were just a voltage source with a current limiting, meaning, and again, the current limiting was not like, okay, it's going to tone down the voltage. Current limiting was like, if you reach that, it will trip. So 5 volt, 1 amp, 5 volt, 2 amp, those sort of thing. And your mobile phone had DC to DC converter to tone the voltage to exactly what the cell needs. Nowadays, you do not need to do that, because again, European Union, thankfully, they had brain. It's like they realized cell phone chargers were such unnecessary e-waste, and it was bonkers amount of e-waste. They created a law, and every company agreed to it, including Apple. This is like 2015, I would say, and everybody had to use micro B. Now Apple, because they are poor company, they are retarded, they're like, hey, what if we burn the only planet we have? We're gonna use the adapter, because there was a clause in that agreement, European Union Consumer Electronic Agreement, is like, if you can't fit it, you can use an adapter. So that's why original iPhones always came with the USB jack on the charger side, not in your phone, because then you can use anything, but you know, then you get, so then you might ask yourself, why would Apple do that? Why go against a government? Well, here's the Apple is a very poor company, very poor. Like, it's very poor. They barely have few trillions. Their CEOs, executive only have few yachts. Like, think of them, like how poor they are. They can't even own 15, 16 islands. They have to go to Epstein Island. Think about it. They're poor. So they're like, hey, there is a sticker. It's called made for iPhone. That sticker can only be placed into something that is copyrighted, that is proprietary, that cannot be put on USB. The U is universal. You can't benchmark. It's like, only works with USB. People will bitch slap you. So flat out, made for iPhone, that sticker forced every third-party manufacturers to license it and pay money, and they were making few $1 million out of it. Planet was burnt, who cares? They needed island, man. Like, come on, like, think of their children, man. Like, 7th yacht, I mean, like, can you imagine being so poor you only have 6 yacht? So this poor company, thankfully, I have to say, somehow somebody had brains in European Union, and they bitch slapped it so hard. This time with USB-C, it's like, no, flat out, you cannot sell into European Union if you do not have USB-C. And you might find it, like, didn't Apple is the one who like literally made the first laptops that had USB-C, and they were not shutting up about it, how great it was? It was that sticker. Nothing else. It was just that sticker. Few $1 million. Such a poor company. That's why I don't never ever buy iPhones. So poor. So fundamentally, chargers now, PD, power delivery, was the second batch of update. It's like, everybody, no fast, you can add fast charging, but you cannot remove fast charging from power delivery. And power delivery now has a latest version known as PPS. So old charging brick, 5 volt, do whatever you want to. Now it's like, talk to me, baby, talk to me. What do you want? Exactly what you want, what voltage you want, what amp you want. I'm going to do the conversion. Benefit, your phone does not heat up. Even if it's doing fast charging, it can follow the voltage curve of the cell. Basically, your mobile phone is doing back and forth conversation with it, and everything is fine. And again, this is older version now. Newer is what we call AVS, adjustable voltage source. The older one sounded cooler, programmable power supply. And again, that's why the law is by 2028, all laptops have to go to USB-C. And again, laptop manufacturers were complaining. It's like, dude, it's only 100 watt. It's not enough. They're like, okay, upgraded it to PD. If I'm not mistaken, PD extended, that was 20 to 160 watts. Then they were like, yeah, that's still not enough. Then they upgraded it again, which is the final. This will be the law in 2028. 48 volt, 5 amps. They made sure the cable never exceeds 5 amp because it would be too thick. So that's why whenever you see company like, super woke and they are doing super duper hyper charging, they're not charging with power delivery. They can't. Even though you're like, but power delivery can give, 200 watts or 240 watts. Problem is they're designed for 5 amps limitation. You can go YOLO on voltage. You can't go YOLO on the current. Current can only go to 5 amps. So in laptops, they are expecting you to have DC to DC converter. Mobile phone, you can have DC to DC converter. You do have DC to DC converter, but they are not 200 watt rated. So that's why you still need proprietary chargers to achieve those like ludicrous speed they saw, like 0 to 100% in like few minutes. 200 watt charging and all that. You need to have that. Although again, law is very clear. You can add whatever you want. You can't subtract PD. That's the law. Don't subtract, add whatever you want, and that's why you don't have to buy charger. We reached this. Like I'm old enough. I remember the early years where every brand had their own BS. Then everybody went into micro B rather than one poor company, and then everybody went into USB-C. I lived through this era, and now my brother can be using his laptop and he just yoink the USB-C, put it in a mobile phone. JJ. Do the reverse also. Have a small charger, slowly trickle charging your laptop also. We reached that. We reached the pinnacle, and by 2028 everybody will have that. Oh, by the way, the law this time includes every electronic. If you are below 200 watts, use it. So fundamentally, do not expect in the future to have like 0 to 100% charging in 1 hour. That's the limitation of the chemistry. Lithium iron phosphate can push higher, but not too much. Lithium titanate can easily go. It can be like 0 to 100 in 15 minutes. But what about the fast charging I hear? All the fast charging is 0 to 80%. Specifically, if you are looking in the chemistry, 0 to 80% is what you call constant voltage range. You can dump as much amp you want. It will not do. But the moment you cross that 80%, it has to go to, current range. Basically, it goes to current to voltage. Basically, now you have to slow down. Otherwise, you will overheat the cell or go kaboom with the cell. Now, electric cars, they have cooling system. Your phone cannot afford that. So 0 to 80, you can charge very fast, like 0 to 80, 15 minutes, that's easy. 0 to 80, 5 minutes, pushing it too much. And again, not to mention, charger will become difficult because you have 5 amp limit. So again, even if your phone has like ludicrous system, you will not able to afford those chargers. And not every charger will have that. So be mindful, be realistic. I can guarantee you 0 to 80% charging would be very fast in the future. And you will still have this idea of 1 hour, like 0 to 100, 1 hour. Don't ever worry about changing it. You can use lithium titanate, but problem would be this 7,300 milliamp hour. That will become 3,000. And I'm being optimistic. But it will charge quickly. And I mean 0 to 100. It will charge quickly. So you see, there is no point. And that's why like the silicon carbon battery is only 12% better. We knew about this. Like you can read the research paper. We knew about this. It's just then why didn't we use it? It just expands and contracts too much. That's why. So again, people are figuring out like some nano geometry that allows us to expand inwards rather than outwards. Let's see how it unfolds, because again, it's not old enough. You have to wait for 3 to 5 years to really understand whether it lasts long enough or not. So this is the battery part. Not much is going to change, but I'm very happy that I lived through this whole era. The garbage era, the micro B era, the USB-C era, and everything having USB-C era. That's yet to come 2 years from now. Now, AI. This is the only domain where company can truly fight. So we have reached peak smartphone. Your smartphone right now, as in 2025 and 2026, can do almost everything the future smartphone could do. Almost everything. So you're not going to do much more. So what is the issue? Well, psychological. Addiction. Everybody is addicted to their smartphone. They hate it. How could you use the smartphone without using the smartphone? AI is the solution. Meaning, instead of using an app and doom scrolling, you're like, hey, book me a pizza. What pizza is available at the end? Like if you have a talk, like you have effort into it, you will become more lazy. And you have one good thing, you could put your phone down. It's like, hey, Alexa or whatever have you. So you can do that. And people don't want to use their phone. Like we are reaching that point. Like I'm old enough, I was like, I don't like it that I can't put my phone down. Like, and again, more and more people are reaching. It's like, just put the phone down. We got like, we flew too close to the sun. And AI can solve that issue. It can become your next personal butler. Now, be mindful. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about in hardware. Let me be very clear. As in, this puppy will react, not some server, because server does not give you the advantage, it gives the whoever holds the server. For example, it can cure loneliness, basically your girlfriend. Now again, there are a lot of idiots in India who get married and kaput it. Current average rate is 100,000 men annually, and those are the one that deleted, others are destroyed in the family court. Go to family court near you. So again, some men are realizing that, you know, it's not worth it, so they need something, because again, we have been not genetically, so sociologically programmed to, like, you know, have someone and all that. So having this is a desirable thing. But if you use a replica right now, replica owns the server, so hardware does not matter. Companies have no say in that, meaning Samsung cannot control it, Apple cannot control it, Asus cannot control it, Snapdragon cannot control it. So this becomes the battleground where they're like, hey, we have onboard NPU that can run your girlfriend. That's a big differentiation. That's why companies like Samsung is actually trying to make sure the AI runs on hardware. That's the biggest differentiator. You might be like, but we can always have network. No, it's not about the network. It's about the fact they control it. There is a differentiation. And this will be that next era where every year you can have changes, where it's like, hey, the phone only let's give a rough number, 500 tokens, right? It can process 500 tokens a second. Let's just go with that. And future phone could be like, it can handle 2000 tokens a second. It will be big enough difference. You will notice it, like, you know, I'm talking to this girlfriend 2.0. It's far more organic, far more subtle, far more satisfying, far less destructive. So fundamentally, that becomes the next battleground. That's why all companies are actually working that they should be able to run a voice conversation on the device itself, like the vehicle, not on server, because whoever controls the server has the control. What's the point of you? You are just a terminal that can be swapped. Companies don't like that. So SoC have reached the saturation, meaning when it was starting, GPS was a different chip, RAM was a different chip, power control was a different chip, everything was a different chip. Now almost all of that has been like, even the power chips are, some designs have it inside, they just put MOSFET, because again, MOSFET has to be designed for your requirement. So that MOSFET is external, but everything else, they are working their ass off to put it inside. So what else you can compete? Like what Qualcomm can do, what Exynos cannot do, what ARM cannot do, because ARM themselves are trying to introduce, SoC. So that's creating an issue. So the only free vector where, like, you know, all others have not reached saturation, it's a AI system. So at that point in time, AI becomes the thing that companies are going to compete. This will be the biggest race you will notice in next 10 years, as in 2035. I can easily see if a company is smart enough, they will work their ass off. They'll make sure that you have a good, healthy girlfriend in your phone, which will not cause you to kaput yourself. Go to family court near you, if you do not believe me. Anywhere, 150 country, pick. So that will be the next battleground. This will be the biggest change. Now we come to the most frustrating part from a company's point of view, is contradiction, meaning the thing that makes phone good also makes it less profitable. For example, I'm old enough where iPhone was a big deal, but I have to say one good thing about iPhone, even though they are poo-poo in everything, they did understood very early on, from iPhone 1 as in, software updates matter. They made sure the operating system was not disposable, it was actually upgraded. Contrast that to Android of that same time. That's why Android had so many names, KitKat, Oreo, this and that. The reason was that very simple, because you bought a box, it said, I came with KitKat, I came with Oreo, because update was not a thing. And only very recently, like I would say, maybe 10 years, it became a thing that at least 1 or 2 updates updates, you will get updates. For example, right now, all my family's phone is Samsung phones, they are all getting updates. And again, they are old, don't have to worry about it. So this is a very, good change, but it backfired on the company, because again, planned obsolescence broke. So what the hell, they're stuck. And again, this is another reason. If your hardware actually improves locally rather than some server, they can actually sell you your phone and you will willingly buy it. So fundamentally, there is a conflict there. If you give them bigger cell packs, like actually bigger chemistry packs, it will last for longer. The battery is the guaranteed thing, it's gonna wear out. Chemistry, you cannot do anything about it. But now imagine a battery that does not degrade quickly, meaning you can use it 3-5 years later and it still has decent enough that you may not even need to replace it. I had like that, Lenovo Vibe P1 I had. That had very awesome lifespan. So again, big cell equal long lifespan. So, but again, company will not be able to sell you too much more. So this creates a paradox for them. Another paradox, which again companies did not control, although they did help create, people are getting poorer right now. And phone prices have become stupid, meaning there was a time people were like, iPhone is $300, who's gonna buy it now? Like $1,000 are like, oh, you're supposed to spend $1,000. Like that translates to a lot in India, like a lot, like bonkersly lot. Heck, even this poor people phone is stupendously expensive. There's Samsung S23 Fan Edition. So prices have become too stupid. But here's the tragic part. People are not getting richer. Track on all index worldwide, people are not getting richer. They're literally scaling backwards their life. They can't forget about home and all that. Their food, food is expensive. So people are getting what they can't afford it, like flat out. Like imagine so many dumb men who got married and now they have alimony and all that, they're dying. So of course they're not going to upgrade their phone in 2 years. They have to pay alimony, so they have to upgrade in 5 years. And even that might not happen. So fundamentally people are getting poorer. So they can't do anything about it. And phone addiction. This is the part that people have reached that point. I have to say, this is one thing that I've noticed, that public consciousness, the cultural zeitgeist is noticing that, phone addiction may have reached bit much. Like you may be spending too many hours and you're not actually learning anything. Heck, I have noticed, like when I originally started smartphone, I was like, learning electronics and all that. Like all my videos that I was watching was like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Now I just scroll like so many TikToks, not TikTok, sorry. It's not allowed in my country, thankfully. Reels and, shorts. And I'm not learning anything. Same hardware, but I'm not learning anything. So fundamental, phone addiction is becoming a bad thing. And what's the solution? Simple. Less time. And if you use your phone less, even if the battery is decaying, you will not notice it. Reduce your screen on time, every phone will last. So fundamentally, that creates a problem. The only new domain that is fresh is folding phone, which is cool, awesome. And I really liked Samsung trifold design. Really good. And I'm happy that they are putting some effort into DeX. But most people can't afford it. I can't afford it. It's almost like 1/3 the cost of the camera that I have. But again, this camera makes money. I can't make money from, Samsung trifold. So that's the whole thing. And phone repairs, which again, companies were like, okay, you can't repair it. My brother repaired not himself. He paid in India to a third party because he went to the company. Like, yeah, we have to swap the motherboard. It was so expensive. It was like 70% of the price of the new phone. It's like, what's the point? And then he shipped it to a company. The company replaced it. Cool, fine, dead. Have fun. That's in India. So fundamentally, there is a contradiction here, which makes the next few years, that's why I'm only focused on the AI part. That's the only big free differentiation left. Other things are just not working in their favor anymore. So you should not be shocked in next, let's say 5 to 10 years, that phone did not change too much. Like it will be like same-ish feeling. So this was my presentation on basically what we can expect in the future of smartphone. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.